Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Loose Balls Podcast. I am your host, Chris, and I'm here with my co host, Eli.
Oh yeah, back for another exciting episode deep into this off season here. Excited to
First couple
catch up.
rounds of free agency.
Exactly, excited to catch up here. I'm a little lagging behind the wagon here as far as like moves here, so I'm excited to also catch up with our fans here.
Well, lots of moves have happened. I was getting notifications all day today. We'll just kind of go through. I'm using the NFL app. It's not fully accurate. They've got to catch up kind of day by day. So we're, I think, at least half a day behind looking at like other news sources and things like that. But I just want to key in here on a big one that we're starting off with. And if the prophecy is not foretold, I will be very disappointed. It's about a guy that I think should retire from the league, but the
Oh,
Vikings are working out a quarterback.
oh, hey, is this the one, the only Flacco himself?
No, no, no. Even better. It's
Oh,
Aaron Rodgers completing the Brett Favre journey
oh my goodness.
going to
I didn't
Minnesota.
I didn't think you'd be visiting any facilities, honestly, in this little off-season period here. What's the news here? Give me the scoop.
So right now they're intrigued. There's nothing much more than that. It's just waiting to see.
Wow,
Yeah,
that is infinitely more than I thought he was ever going to be seeing this off-season here. That would
right.
be very poetic. It's very Aaron Rodgers as well. It's honestly a little bit of a shame for our guy Sam Darnold, you know. But interesting to say the
Well,
least.
you're getting ahead of yourself here. You're a couple days behind. Sam Darnold's not a free agent.
Oh,
Sam Darnold has a team, and it's not Minnesota.
wow. Okay, wait, where'd our guy Sam end up?
Sam Darnold is now a Seattle Seahawk.
Oh, okay. Hey, it's a pretty lateral move, but I kind of like it. I mean, this all being said, the Seahawks are kind of dismantling at the seams, at least from what I've been seeing this last week. So Sam Darnold's buying in low, as it were, right now, but it'll be pretty interesting to see kind of what he can whip up. I'm kind of seeing a Commanders-esque season here from him.
Maybe. I look, either way, it's going to be good.
Yeah.
I think, well, he can't do worse necessarily than Geno Smith. Now, the
I
roster
mean,
is worse.
I think he could do worse than Geno Smith, fam. It's just me. That's just me.
I I to an extent, yes. So that's okay. What I'm saying is that his play
Mhm.
is not going to be any different than Geno Smith's play. The
Yeah.
Seattle team that Geno was on was drastically better than the team that Sam Darnold's taking over because there's no Tyler Lockett,
Yeah.
there's no DK Metcalf, there's
Yep.
no is it nope, it's just those two right now. They haven't moved anybody else. But
Okay.
those are your 1 and 2 receivers.
Wow.
So
Yep. That's pretty big, you know. Um, that seeing his limited kind of play style, he was playing with the Vikings already, only passing to like the same 4 or 5 guys. That doesn't sound the best, at least as far as his play style, but like you were saying, I think their play between Gino and him is pretty similar, so, you know, I think yeah, like what we were kind of aiming at, a little bit of a neutral type movement here.
yeah. So to go over everything else from free agency because we kind of jumped into that, we're talking about it. I
Mhm.
have the NFL app up. We can start with the AFC. If we've got
Yeah.
time, we'll knock out the NFC. If it looks like it's running a little long, we might just call it and do the NFC a different day.
Do
Starting
it.
with the AFC East,
Mhm.
Buffalo Bills have
Ooh.
a new 6-year deal with Josh Allen for 330 million with 250
Yeah,
million guaranteed.
I
He's going
like
to
that.
retire a bill pretty
Yeah,
much
that's
if he
good.
wants
Yeah,
to.
if he wants
He
to.
could go that route of Aaron Rodgers and deciding, or Flacco and deciding to go further.
Yeah.
They also signed Chargers receiver Josh Palmer. Doesn't move the needle a whole lot, but
Oh,
they did not. To be clear,
that's
they
good.
still have not re-signed Amari Cooper. So Amari Cooper is
Okay.
out.
Yeah. Okay. That's
So
yeah, that's pretty good then, you know. I mean, it's a good like kind of par for the course type movement there, you know.
Yeah. So Josh Palmer for 3 years.
Hmm.
They extended Khalil Shakir.
Okay.
And then, sorry, there's more moves than this. I'm just going through kind of the big ones because the big one here is that they signed Joey Bosa to line up on the
Yeah.
opposite side of Von Miller.
I know, dude.
To be,
Gary
I
Terry
thought
type
the Chargers would keep him.
defense. Right.
Right.
I know, yeah. I heard that there was going to be some movement with him, but ending up with the Bills is very refreshing. Keep an eye on that for this upcoming fantasy season. Might want to take that Bills defense there in about the 10th round, huh?
Yeah.
But yeah, very exciting.
So they brought in a lot of 1-year deals to revamp their defense that they're missing out on. But it's not. I mean, the big one was Joey Bosa. Not to hate on any other defensive players, but moving on to the Miami Dolphins.
Oh, all right.
They have fixed their backup QB problem. No longer is it Skylar Thompson or Tyler Huntley. We now have Zach Wilson backing us up, which has me with just as much confidence as either of the other two guys.
That's a good amount of criticism, yeah.
At least he has won an NFL game.
That's true.
In the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, because this next season hasn't started yet.
More than one. I think he won 2 or 3?
He's won 4. If we're going off of the season where Aaron Rodgers blew out his leg. Maybe it was more. It's not a lot. There's a reason that the Broncos kept Stidham and let him go.
Yep.
We also, after realizing we're losing Tyreek Hill, have brought in Nick Westbrook-Ikhine from the Titans. Free agency signing is a 2-year, $6.5 million deal. So it's going to be Jonnu Smith, Jalen Waddle, and Nick Westbrook-Ikhine out there because I don't think we kept. Oh my goodness, the giant Odell Beckham Jr.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think to be honest, I don't know what he actually did for us. And
I think he only played 2 games or something like that, right?
Something like that, yeah.
A shame, honestly. I wish they utilized him a little bit more. But, I don't know too much about this signing. Titans is a team that the only thing I heard of last season was how much the coach hated his QB and the whole scheme that they even had brewing over there. So, I mean, Titans receiver, lots of potential. I don't really know too much about what he's going to be adding to the Dolphins offense.
That's right. His quarterbacks were Ryan Tannehill.
Mm-hmm.
The Mayo guy. Why can I not think of his name right now?
Patty Mayo.
No, not Patty Mayo. When he was with the Titans, Will Levis, and then for a short while, Mason Rudolph. There's not a lot going his way. So to be behind at least a better quarterback in Tua, he's going to get more passes and more looks.
Yeah. So that'll be fun to kind of track.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. My favorite thing to see here is the Patriots are continuing to do Patriot things, and they have not fixed their receiver problem. They've worked a little bit on their offensive line, but they are leaning back into their defense because, fuck it, who needs offense, right?
Who's their head coach right now? I forget.
Gerard Mayo. I don't think they fired him, right? Or did they fire him?
I think they fired him.
This is an easy fix. I can look it up real quick if it'll work. But while we look that up, they have signed quarterback Josh Dobbs to be the backup.
Oh, okay. Hey, I love hearing a good old Josh Dobbs name drop. Okay.
They also went out and brought in Mac Hollins on a 2-year deal, so they have another
I think
receiver.
He was playing for him last season as well. I think they extended it, huh? No?
Nope. He was with the Bills. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, he's going to be a good addition to the team. I don't think it's going to fix their...
Oh, that's right. Never mind. They're going to do fine. They have Mike Vrabel as their head coach. I forgot they made this move. They're going to be fine. Never mind. He's going to turn that defense into a stud.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Yeah. They also brought over Harold Landry from his former Titans, where he was a coach up until last year. And that's... Oh, and they re-signed Austin Hooper Tight end.
Oh, nice, dude. Okay. All right.
Hasn't
Hey.
done anything.
Yep. Hasn't done anything. I love the name though. But
Yeah.
I mean, hey, I hope Patriots get like at least 4 wins this upcoming season.
I mean, they will. Drake May's going to do fine.
Yeah. Is Drake
Uh,
May gonna be good in time?
he's going to be okay. He's a good quarterback. It really comes down to, can the O line block for more than 2 seconds? Because that's what he was really struggling with last season.
Yeah.
And can his receivers get open? Like,
Yeah.
if he can put the ball where it needs to go, but if the receivers can't create separation, it's over.
Mhm. Which
So
Mac Jones is extremely skilled at, so I think he's going to be a pretty good option for this upcoming season.
I think so too. And they're probably going to go and draft somebody because they don't need to draft a quarterback this year. So they can pass on like Shadur Sanders and Cam
Nice.
Ward.
Okay,
I think it's
exciting.
Cam Ward. So then we get to the Jets, who after telling Aaron Rodgers to kick rocks, I think we actually predicted this one, or maybe I said it. I don't remember. It was you or I said it when we were talking about QB moves. They have signed Justin Fields to a 2-year
I
deal.
yes. Okay, I think you called this one.
So
Yeah.
young quarterback that you really don't have to spend a whole lot of money on because he has to prove it with your young
Yeah.
core. If he works out, great. Now he
Yeah.
can go on and continue to build with this team. If he doesn't work out, whatever. It's a stopgap. We just draft a
Yep.
quarterback or we let Tyrod Taylor play. Like, we're good.
100%. And after seeing some interviews with the coach and the culture they're trying to create there, getting rid of Aaron Rodgers, a rather cancerous type of energy that was in the at least locker room there. I think this is going to be an extremely good energy shift, having some sort of positive QB that was managing a positive offense in that Jets locker room to kind of help coach up some more players and. That's gonna be a fun watch. That's gonna be a fun watch for sure. Especially Justin Fields spending so much time on the Bears with a horrendous, I wouldn't say horrendous coaching situation, but definitely lackadaisical to say the
Matt
least.
Eberflus did him no favors.
Absolutely no favors whatsoever. So I think this is gonna be a really exciting team to kind of track. I think Jets fans love this.
I think so too.
Mhm.
They also they added some more depth to their O line. They got a new offensive tackle and a center, and then everybody else re-signed or they went out and signed another safety. So their defense, which was fine, is continuing to be bolstered. Their O line's getting some work done, and they have a QB. I think they're going to be okay.
Yeah.
Do I think they compete for our division? No. Do I think
No.
that the Patriots compete for the division? No. Do I
No.
think the Dolphins compete for the division? No.
And I mean,
No.
we
I
hope,
think it's going to be the Bills
right?
division again.
Yeah.
So I don't think it matters. We're all playing catch up to the Bills. The Dolphins will
Yeah.
probably be the closest, but yeah,
Yeah.
it means nothing. We're going to lose Tua for 7 weeks, and so we're going to lose 7 games in a row. I don't know what else to tell you.
Fair.
So moving on to the AFC North, we are on to the Baltimore Ravens, who have made one free agency signing so far. They have re-signed 2 players, an offensive tackle and a fullback. They
Okay.
have signed one new player, and it's wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins.
Um, yeah.
You know, three,
Yeah.
4 years ago, this is the splash of a signing. Now
Yeah.
it feels kind of just like,
Drop
man,
in the bucket.
he's really got to prove it. He's going to
Yeah.
be good. I can't stress
Hope,
this enough. I
you know.
think he's going to do fine because he doesn't have to be the number one. He's not,
Mhm.
because he's not the guy anymore.
Yeah.
But you
I don't
have,
think, honestly, I don't think the Ravens are the guy anymore, just as a team. But
they're going to make the playoffs again.
yeah, I mean, who they got in their division? They got
They have the Bengals, Steelers, and why can I not? Oh, Browns.
Browns. Maybe they might make playoffs. I mean, the QB alone is pretty much able to do that single-handedly, get them to the playoffs, but there's just something about that cohesion that they just don't have that they had not even last year, but the year before, that kind of that energy or that spark that kind of it's that fourth quarter touchdown, At least that's what I saw in this last postseason.
Yeah.
I don't think DeAndre Hopkins is gonna necessarily do anything as far as like a veteran appearance in the locker room. I think they got plenty of that. I think they need some sort of like change up, some sort of energy with the Baltimore Ravens. So to hear only one signing, not the best thing to
I'm
hear.
sure there's more to come, but
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, you would
well,
want to
because reminder that we're gonna jump around a bit here with this one, but Cooper Cup is still available. Stephon Diggs is still available.
Yeah.
There's still a couple big names out here that you could go out and make a splash. Not to say that again, Cooper Cup is moving the needle or Stephon Diggs is moving the needle, but there's still other big name receivers that have not been signed.
Yeah.
So we could see them go for that because everybody else has kind of shored up their receiver room except for a couple teams, but some were fine.
Yeah.
So we'll see. The Ravens also handedly won their division and then made it to the playoffs and should have done better. I don't know if they're coming. I would almost be saying like we're just going to run it back. I think we missed out on this opportunity. I think we get it here because you still have Derrick Henry who's going to rumble for what 1,600. You think?
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. I mean, maybe that's definitely tough to say. I mean, there's nothing to say he's not going to, but age is a factor, especially with RDs.
It is. Yeah. All right, moving on to the next team, the Bengals. Quite a lot of re-signings and moves here. So Sammy Pirine has signed a 2-year deal with the Bengals. Kind of just meh.
Yeah, meh.
He's gonna be back there with Zach Moss and the rookie that they had last year that did well competing for spots. He's a good pass catching back. They, for the second year in a row, have franchise tagged T. Higgins, but T. Higgins has an opportunity to go out and get a contract and they can match it. So we'll see. There might be a couple desperate teams that are like, "Hey, we'll pay you." It's not the first time that a team's been stolen out from them. In fact, no, they weren't outbid. They did it last year when they lost Tyler Boyd as well. I forgot about that. Yeah, a lot of re-sign. They kind of shored up their defense, re-signed a lot of stuff. They re-signed Mike Gesicki, which again doesn't move the needle much for me. He's an okay tight end.
Yeah, I don't remember hearing too much production out of him last year.
So, not a whole lot going on with the Bengals. Yeah. We get to the fun team in the division, the Cleveland Browns, a.k.a. the Tire Fire. What are we going to fix here? So, on the plus side, Browns fans, you guys have signed Myles Garrett after what everybody thought you were going to lose him. 4 years.
Honestly, a little sad about that re-signing, honestly. I think Myles Garrett should have gotten a ring somewhere. But,
he might. You don't know. You haven't heard all the offseason signings. All right, hold on a second. Okay. 4-year extension that includes $123 million salary with $40 million guaranteed. So they've locked him up. Kind of crazy that these two big edge contracts happen because Max Crosby also got the bag. But they have signed a tackle. And then now this is just still speculation at this point, but Russell Wilson has visited the Browns.
Yeah.
But if he says no, you have your starting quarterback in there right now because the Browns have traded for Kenny Pickett.
Oh, wow.
They gave up Dorian Thompson-Robinson and a fifth. Mind you, Kenny Pickett received more in trade value than Deebo Samuel.
Oh my gosh. That is insane. A fifth and a third?
No, a fifth and QB Dorian Thompson-Robinson. So a player and a pick for Kenny Pickett. Could have been a salary thing.
That's crazy.
But yeah. And guess what? There's no one else.
They call that
Flacco's gone and visited. What are we going to do? This is the last year of Deshaun Watson's contract. He's not going to play because he retore his ACL. They're still trying to prove whether he did that in a contact or non-contact sport or if it re-injured in rehab. If they can prove it, they're just cutting his contract.
A lot of times I may, be ungrateful for the position I'm in as a Raiders fan, but gosh, would I hate to be a Browns fan. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
You get hope with Baker Mayfield just for the organization to trade him away. Oh man. And he's out there just being good enough to carry teams to playoffs.
Absolutely, making a blaze over there with Tampa Bay. Yeah,
he is the Austin Reeves of the NFL. He's just got heart. He
Yeah,
might not
yeah,
be
true,
like
true.
the
Yeah,
top, but he's
yeah.
got heart.
Yep. A little bit of what Josh Allen has. Yeah. Our guy Baker has in tenfold.
Yeah.
Uh,
So let's see. And then the last one in the division is the Pittsburgh Steelers.
okay. Yeah.
Pittsburgh Steelers have signed Kenneth Gainwell after he hit
Mhm.
free agency from the Eagles, which is
Okay.
kind of important here because they did let Najee Harris go. So it's Jalen Warren, and they have a backup for him now.
Oh
They
wow.
traded for DK Metcalf,
Yep.
which is insane. Like
Yeah, that is
George Pickens
insane.
and DK Metcalf are about to be one of the most dynamic receiving duos out there. Had Ben
Yep.
Roethlisberger in an interview, kind of being like, "Yeah, I could probably throw a couple more." Like it,
Just coming out. Yeah.
yeah. So, but they don't have a quarterback.
Yeah. That's a difficult place to be in. That means they're going to be a pretty mighty force coming into this draft here.
They're going to trade up for sure. And the other part here that I think has to happen is they can't sit on their pick, because that's how they ended up with like Mason Rudolph and all these other guys that are like, they might be good. No, you have to win with this pick
Yeah. A
this year.
little bit,
Like,
yeah, a little bit of backpedaling here. I'm hoping Najee doesn't end up being one of these backs that kind of bounces around the league. I hope he finds some sort of team to kind of anchor him. I think he is an RB with a tremendous amount of talent, but just
well, he
hasn't
has a
had that
home
opportunity.
already. So
Oh,
he's
okay.
further down the list, and he's probably going to be a backup, but he's backing up someone that's kind of injury prone. So we'll see.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Yep.
Other key signing here is they signed a new D lineman and 2 cornerbacks, and then they got tight end Donald Parham Jr. He's been
Mm,
around the league a little bit for a 1-year deal. All right. So, Houston Texans. We're now in the AFC South.
love to hear it.
We had the slump. We're trying to get a. Oh, I didn't read this, but okay. Okay.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
we have. They re-signed their one of their running backs who was further down the depth chart that wasn't getting much, like, except for special teams.
Mm,
They signed Braxton Berrios. Again, not a big splash.
okay.
Then they went out and they traded with the Jaguars to get Christian Kirk.
Wow. We were talking
So
about Christian Kirk there for a little while.
he was overpaid. So
Yeah.
they're picking up and eating a pretty significant contract for a player that's really a number 2 receiver. He was a number
Yep.
2 receiver with the Cardinals before he went to the Jaguars. But
Comfortable number 2 here, though.
it is. And that means that this opens the field to let
Mm,
Stephon Diggs go.
yep.
You don't
Okay.
have to sign him because he's not on the team right now. So he could resign, and then that would be even
Could
a crazier
resign.
receiver core room.
I would
But
be
it's
in favor of re-signing here. I mean, that's just me though, but yeah, they do have a little bit of wiggle room here.
yeah. So it would be Tank Dell.
Yep.
Why can I not remember the other guy's name? The best friend that got shot,
Yeah.
or was that Tank Dell?
That was not Tank Dell. That was a friend. I forget.
on.
Yeah.
Texans. Ooh. Texans receivers. Let's see. Nico Collins. That's who it is.
There you go. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And Christian Kirk, Stephon Diggs would be insane. You also
Yeah.
have Robert Woods. Forgot about him, but
Oh yeah.
maybe he gets cut if this
Yeah.
happens.
Goes back to the Rams.
And then a lot of defensive signings because it looks like they lost a lot, but they made a trade with the Eagles for. Oh, that's not Sauce Gardner. That's why I read it wrong. C.J. Gardner Johnson.
Okay.
They traded a guard away. I was like,
Yeah.
Jets made a move. What are we
Right.
talking about?
That's crazy.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm liking the hearings of kind of what the Texans are kind of cooking up here. Like you said, they are out of this slump now. I'm hoping they kind of prove it here in this third year. It's still exciting, I mean, they're still going to have a good amount of stock for me in this upcoming season.
Yeah, I mean they're going to win their division again.
They win their
It's
division.
not. Yeah,
Okay.
didn't they? Or was it Jaguar? No, it could have been the Jaguars.
I don't even know.
It wasn't the Colts. No, they had to have won their division. Yeah, they won their division and they got smoked by the Chiefs.
Oh yeah. Yep. Okay.
Yep. So we're on to the Colts, which I'm surprised people don't talk about this enough. It's a huge dumpster fire, right? Like
It is. It is.
they have a
I mean,
quarterback that's tapping out.
it's a huge ownership thing that's going on over here.
Yeah, and this whole thing that we draft well, we're not getting rid of the GM. Like,
Yeah.
okay, beginning of the offseason, you have the chance to call any free agent quarterback right now because you have just gone out as GM and said, we would like to have someone that competes with Anthony Richardson to maybe light that fire. Who are you picking to compete with Anthony Richardson that actually feels like real competition?
I honestly would go after Justin Fields, but
Right, that's a good one. Someone that's going to young that you could move the team to. I would take probably famous Jameis. He's
okay.
competitive enough that you could start him, but he's not threatening Anthony Richardson.
Yeah.
You know who I'm not picking?
Who's that?
Daniel Jones. That's who I'm not picking, but that's who the Colts picked. That's who they decided was going to be the answer to our competition problem. We're going to bring in a guy that secured the bag and then was QB3 by the end of his contract on a different team.
I mean, hey, to be fair, about 3 or some odd years ago, he was getting compared to Trevor Lawrence. And, if we kind of connect some dots here, get some red line here, and kind of connect it to the contract that Trevor Lawrence has, you might get some sort of harebrained type theory of why he might be valuable on this offensive scheme. But it doesn't make sense in any world at all.
No. This is not competition. This is we're gonna start him when Anthony Richardson tanks the first 4 games, and we're just gonna give up on the season for a better draft pick.
This is looking at the Browns and saying, "Oh, so you made one of the worst moves? Okay, let's see what we can do. Let's do our best." The
Browns are getting a bunch of publicity for being really bad. Write that down. Write that down.
Exactly right.
Oh man. They signed Khalil Herbert to back up Jonathan Taylor, which again feels like a meh. And then they re-signed a lot of other people, and it's like,
Yeah. That is tough to hear, especially for Anthony Richardson.
To be fair, though, this division didn't make a lot of signings. I mean, that's not true. There's a lot of signings, but they're kind of not needle mover signings. They're fixing O lines, they're fixing DB defensive backfields and stuff like that. Like, it's not bad, but when we talk about like teams that needed to make a move, the Colts signing Daniel Jones was not it.
Honestly, I'm excited for this new Jags coach. That's just me though.
Duval. Well, that's great because they didn't sign a whole lot and they let Evan Ingram go. So they brought in Nick Mullins to replace Mac Jones.
Let's see what their rating is after this draft. That's all I want to know.
That's right. They might be going for the draft here. They did go out and draft or sign 3 new linemen. So they're trying to shore up there.
Yep.
They signed wide receiver Dyami Brown. To a 1-year, $10 million deal just to make sure that if they don't get a receiver in the draft, they've got somebody to replace Christian Kirk.
Yep.
And safety. It's a big signing here. The Titans, and the last one in here, again, tackle, guard, an edge rusher. See, I think the only one that worth noting here is they signed wide receiver Van Jefferson.
Oh, okay.
Who 2 years ago was lined up next to Justin Jefferson, catching, I think, like taking catches away from Justin Jefferson, where people are like, maybe we let go of JJ. Yeah, he then went to the Steelers and sucked.
Oh, that's too bad.
And so this is his bounce back chance. Don't know who's throwing him the ball because they're going to draft it because their coach has said they never want to see Will Levis on the field again.
Yep, that is definitely
And
true. Hmm.
but there's a space to fill because Westbrook Akine went to the Dolphins. So
Okay.
there's a spot to
Yeah.
fill here. You're
Hmm.
with, I mean, they have a good backfield and Tony Pollard and Traje Spears.
Hey,
So
Robert Woods back to the Titans.
eh, if he did, it would not move anything for me at
Yeah.
all. And I don't mean that in like a mean way. I
Mhm.
just think that this team's got to suck for like 2 years before they can start this
Yeah.
rebuild, and they keep trying to keep themselves afloat.
Yeah. True.
They're playing Moneyball Saints
Yeah. True.
because the Saints are in cap space purgatory.
Yep.
So now we're moving into the AFC West,
Yep.
and maybe let's do the AFC and the NFC split.
Yeah,
Because
that's what I was thinking.
all right, so we start with. I mean, do you want to just jump to your team? You want to start there? Or you want
Oh,
to just go down the order?
would love to jump to my team. Okay.
Let's jump to your team.
Yep. Yep. Yes.
So with the Raiders, we have the trade for Geno Smith, which
Yes.
is Seahawks get a third round pick from the Raiders, and the Raiders get Geno Smith.
Love it.
So we have a quarterback,
We finally have a
which
quarterback,
means we're giving up on AOC and Desmond Ritter.
big time, and Gardner Minshew.
He's been told he was going to be cut. They told him before the offseason even started, like, just so you know, you're going to want to start finding another job.
Shouldn't be too hard for him. League's desperate.
Right.
Yep.
Josh Dobbs still has a job, so
But yeah, true. That's true.
not to hate on Josh Dobbs. He's better than I am at
Come on.
quarterback.
Let's
But
be fair, okay?
he went to 3 teams in one season, so let's
Yeah,
hold
that's
off here.
true. That's true.
So
And the re-signing.
yes, you re-signed Max Crosby to a 3-year extension worth 106 million with 91
Yes.
gil. Oh, hang on. Does that mean that he held the highest paid player for like a second? 4-year, 123, and you signed him to a 3-year, 104. Nope, he gets more. Okay, 106. Cool.
Nice. Yeah.
So
Love that signing. I think it's going to do a lot of wonders for the team. He's an extremely valuable player. If we did not do that, he would have been signed for about the same somewhere else, I believe.
Yep.
And the difference between this and Myles Garrett, at least in my opinion, is I'm a fan of the Raiders. Let's just be frank here. But but the other addition of having Geno Smith coming into the team is a huge, huge plus. The team going to have that chemistry with Pete Carroll. Hopefully, we get some sort of semblance of a future with this kind of dynamic that we have here. We have the culture being set with Max Crosby. Being able to kind of bring in this knowledge from the Gruden days that they were having a productive offense in a Raiders scheme, and having the experience of Pete Carroll. Kind of being able to promote the team and bring them up to kind of a fresh start, I think is going to be huge.
I agree. I do think a hamper here, though, is that Pete Carroll is a defensive-minded quarterback coach, and they signed a lot of defensive players. Like you got Jeremy Chin, who I like. I think that's a good signing, but which is going to benefit Max Crosby, which is why you gave him the big money. But I think is not going to help the offense develop because Brock Bowers is going to be fine.
Yeah.
Jacoby Myers is probably still going to be kind of where he's at.
Yeah.
Mid. And then is it Myers? Is that the other one?
Yeah.
The tight end? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a 2 tight end set. I don't know if there's going to be a whole lot of passing, but you guys still need a running back, right?
Need a running back.
Yeah.
And I honestly, I don't think the passing is going to be that big of an issue. Our wide receivers have always had good plays to kind of fall back on, at least in these last 2 years. So I think separation, being open, being able to get at least even a quick lateral, not going to be a problem for the offense, especially with the experience that Geno Smith's going to be bringing here. Yeah, I think running back is going to be a weakness here. And that's going to be
there's still running backs around you could trade for or sign.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully they shore up offensive line in this upcoming draft. That's what I'm hoping. Yeah, it'll be
Did
interesting.
you guys get any linemen? Oh, you signed a guard.
Okay, that's good.
So yeah, one guard.
Still
So
need more though,
yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So now we're on to the Denver Broncos, where we really get to start to talk about
Oh,
the expunging of players that is the Niners defense. They have lost so many
yes.
key pieces.
Yes, they
So
have.
key point, we've already talked about Zach Wilson, which means the Broncos have decided they're going to keep Jarrett Stidham for
Oh,
another 2 years.
there you go. Okay, Stidham's the
They
guy.
also went out and signed Evan Ingram, which gives them a
Ooh.
better tight end than what they had. Not hating on oh my goodness, I can't remember his name. I can see him. He's got the long hair, but Evan Ingram's going to be a better tight end than what they had, and it's going to give Bo Nix another receiver to throw to.
Yep.
They then signed Dre Greenlaw and Talanoa Hufanga from the Niners. Like
Yep.
they
Wow.
took him away. That's going to make their defense better. Wasn't Dre Greenlaw the one that was the captain of the Niners defense that tore his ACL in their loss?
Um,
Running onto the field. I thought it was.
Maybe. I don't even
Yeah,
remember.
I think he was. Yeah. But all in all, not a whole lot. But again, this team almost made it to the playoff. Did make it to the playoffs? Almost made it to the playoffs.
Almost made it, yeah.
And when
The
they were
whole
supposed to be in a rebuild, Bo Nix also tied with Jaden Daniels as being one of 2 rookie quarterbacks to ever have the passing yards and touchdowns that they did in a season.
Yeah.
So it's in a good spot.
Mhm.
They've also talked about, who was it? Oh, Gronk thinking about coming out of retirement. Evan Ingram and Gronk lined up
Ooh.
next to each other.
Yeah,
Come
dude.
on.
Also, kind of backpedaling on that last point, being able to have that productive of an offense, being able to sling the ball, dude, the amount of data that their offensive coordinator and Sean Payton's going to have to kind of cook up a really decent scheme this upcoming season, a little bit exciting for kind of football heads out there. So definitely keep an eye on this offense. I think it's going to be a fun watch.
Okay.
Yep.
So, I think this division is probably going to be one of the more competitive divisions in the AFC.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah. It's probably going to be.
Yes.
And so, that being said, you would expect teams to be making a lot of moves to try and better themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Chargers have a lot of confidence here.
Ooh.
Not making a lot of moves.
This is true.
Returning on new deals, re-signing. So, let's get to the couple that they did make moves for. They have agreed to back up J.K. Dobbins. They're going to bring in Najee Harris.
Oh, okay. I like that.
So, I think that's going to benefit the team.
Did Najee run with Michigan?
I don't think so. I don't think that has anything to do with it. I know Harbaugh's a big Michigan guy, but
yeah. There you go.
They re-signed Khalil Mack to a 1-year deal, $18 million fully guaranteed. This sounds like we're getting to the end of a retirement deal.
Snaps off for my guy Khalil Mack negotiating for a better contract. Okay, I think he was going to get, I want to say 11 or 12 million. So getting that extra little bit right there, I'd love to hear it.
And then I feel like this is technically a re-signing because this guy went off and did nothing for the Jets. The Chargers are signing wide receiver Mike Williams, which is the same. He was on the team when they jettisoned Keenan Allen and him. So it's kind of a re-signing. It doesn't move the needle for me. I know that the Chargers got rid of Josh Palmer. I think he is an upgrade to Josh Palmer. And when he's the number 1, he was the guy. But when he's the number 2, he's mid as ever, and it's going to be Ladd McConkey as the number 1. So,
oh man,
okay, that's great. You and Quentin Johnson can compete for the other passes, and Gerald Everett. I think they have Gerald Everett too. It's like,
they still have Gerald Everett. Okay, there you go.
I thought they did. I don't remember. I thought they got him. Yeah. And then last but not least, everybody's favorite team, the Kansas City Chiefs.
There you go.
They re-signed Marquise Brown, who, remember, was hurt for most of the season for them.
Wow. Yeah.
It's a 1-year, $11 million contract. Makes sense.
Wow, that's pretty shocking, honestly.
And then they assigned, or they didn't assign it. They signed Elijah Mitchell.
Okay, I like
So
that.
again, he's not going to start. It's going to be Isaiah Pacheco. But
Yeah,
I mean, okay, they
there you go.
got a new cornerback in Christian Fulton,
There you
and then
go.
they signed a
You think
punter.
you
Yeah.
think they draft a tight end to back up Kelsey this season?
Didn't they already? Isn't that the guy that was going out there and catching passes, or am I? Is he not? Was he
Uh,
not their contingency plan? I don't think they drafted tight end. I think they drafted tight end the year that Travis Kelsey says he's going to retire. And that's
I
not
mean,
hating on tight
I,
ends, but tight ends aren't someone that you necessarily need to plan ahead for.
that's fair. Yeah.
Like, I mean, you could. Like, if you had the capabilities and you had a later round draft pick to take a flyer on a tight end, you should.
Yeah.
That's kind of like what the Eagles did with Jason Kelsey. They had an opportunity to take a flyer on a center to back him up and teach him. And so,
hmm I
yeah,
mean, I think just for me, having one of the greatest tight ends of all time on your team, and then not kind of ushering in someone to kind of take the place is going to be a little bit of a not necessarily a culture shock, but like definitely something that's going to perturb the offensive scheme. Um, Especially if the new tight end isn't productive. I think that's kind of a recipe for disaster. But I mean, if they have their stuff all worked out, I don't necessarily see Kelsey going past this season. But yeah, it'll be interesting.
I think it. Yeah, I don't know. I think the Chiefs are just riding high on the fact that they have Patrick Mahomes and they've drafted well.
Yeah, that's true.
If their players that they draft could stay out of trouble,
Sure.
like, my goodness, I don't know. I Are we seeing the season where the Broncos slowly over retake the division? Because it's
Maybe.
not going to be the Chargers. I like
Yeah,
the Chargers. I like Jim Harbaugh.
yeah.
That
They're
team has
gonna
just
be
been
kind of like
stuck in
that.
mediocrity
Yeah,
since
that
Philip
Rams kind of
Rivers.
flex. They might get that once in a blue moon type shot at the crown, but yeah, no, I definitely see. It's definitely too early to call Broncos the team that's making the moves to create the new and improved Broncos image. But I don't know. I think AFC West is in a very ambiguous spot right now. Especially after this Kansas City loss in the Super Bowl. I think that's going to do a lot to at least motivate the division as well to kind of strive to do better.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think Broncos are definitely the most exciting. You know,
I agree. I just think that the jump that they made this last year is just crazy. So to
yeah,
consider that they're gonna like they could even continue from here is
true,
so
true. Who better to
yeah.
do it with than Sean Payton, though?
The irony is that he's gonna lose a game on a blown call on a big catch.
That's true.
It's gonna be like Evan
Man.
Ingram goes up, gets shoved, no call.
Yeah, that's true. Sean Payton's gonna lose it.
So well, that's the AFC. I
Yep.
mean, a couple teams made
Bad.
some big moves, couple teams made no moves. A
Yeah.
lot of we'll see. So
Hmm.
you want to give me a hot take and we can start to wrap on out of here?
Ooh, okay. Hey, hot take. Mm. Hot take is that after these minimal changes that the Jets have made, they are going to see a over 8 win season this upcoming season.
An oat for the Jets? Or
A
who'd you
what?
say? Sorry. What I
I'm saying Jets are going positive
They're getting a
games.
positive win. Okay.
Yeah. hmm
You think it's Justin Fields or you think it's a mix of QBs?
I think it's a mix of QBs.
Okay. Uh
hmm
Funnily enough, I am also going to New York for my hot take.
Oh,
I think that the Giants, spoiler, I've looked ahead, re-signed Tommy DeVito.
Oh,
So they still need a quarterback, is what I'm
yeah,
saying.
they do. They can't.
They're
yeah,
going to
they
draft. They're going to draft a QB, but before they do that, they're going to sign Famous Jameis. I called him to the Raiders, and he didn't go to the Raiders. I
Yeah.
think he is the perfect backup because he's not good enough to start a full season. Because you start
Yeah.
to see why he's not a full-time starter. But
Okay. It gets a little cold up there. That's all I gotta say.
he'll do fine because he won the snow
Yeah.
game against the Steelers.
That's true. Hey, that's true.
So-
Hey, I can't talk smack on that. You're right.
So, but what I'm saying is that if they draft a QB and he's a bust, or if he gets hurt, you bring in Jameis, he's guaranteed to electrify a team because he's just crazy.
Yep.
And he's
True.
a good, like, did you see the stats? It was like the Super Bowl preseason show versus Famous Jameis's interview outside. Which one do you think got more views?
Oh, I guarantee you the famous Jameis outside.
It was the Famous
Yeah.
Jameis interview.
Yeah,
for the
dude.
Super Bowl.
It's electric, dude. Come on.
So he's going to, like, this team needs a win. Just
Yes.
bring him in, even for that. If
That's
he
true.
gets a couple big wins, everybody's going to go nuts, but everybody's going to understand because he's going to go out and have a 5-pick game that, like, oh yeah, this can't be our guy. This is,
Hey,
it's got to be
that
someone
also
else.
keeps those receivers accountable. You know what I'm saying? If they don't have their head looking back, looking for that ball, that's
Oh,
gonna
it's
make some-
coming.
yeah, that's gonna make some executive decisions for sure. Just even having them on the
But-
team, you know.
But Malik Neighbors is going to thrive on that. So, do I think Joe Shane and Dable have talked about it? I'm sure. I'm sure they've sat down and looked through all the QBs that are available. But I think the fans need Famous Jameis. So,
Love that hot take. Love that hot take.
all right. Well, we'll be back this time next week. We'll catch up on any of the new changes to the AFC and
Yep.
then jump into the NFC. So, tune in
All right.
next time, y'all.
Of course.
Yeah. Later.
Later.